Hey everybody, got another video here for you. Okay, start at the neck, and every 50 millimeters I took the measurements from here over to, from the center line over to this edge on the inside and the outside, and transferred it all over to the wood 50 millimeter steps at a time, marked it all out, and then connected the dots. And that should give me a good enough outline that I can have at this with the jigsaw. And that's going to be the next step. Okay, I think you get the idea. I'm just trying to get close and I can round it out with the Shinto or something like that, or the sander. So I'm going to go ahead and finish cutting this out, and I'll see you in a minute. And there it is, all done. Now I need to clean it up with the Shinto rasp. I think you get the idea. I'll be back. And there it is, all cleaned up with the Shinto rasp. All nice and smooth, and round and even and symmetric and everything. Smooth curves, so yeah. Only thing left for this would be drilling some neck holes, marking this out and shaping that a little bit, and then sanding, and it should be ready for paint. And then I still have to shape the neck, and I need to check on my finishing test to see how it's doing. It's got a second layer of lacquer on it, 2 thick layers. One thick layer, then sanded at 320, and then a second thick layer, and that should be cured now. Okay, here's the test piece for the finish. It got the second coat of lacquer on it, and then I just now put this sticker on it. Some freebie that one of the vendors sent me because I ordered so many stickers for the original Oriental build, probably. So next step, I'm going to clear coat this and we'll see the results once it dries. Think it might work. So, mail call, and a couple more cans of black lacquer for this build just arrived. And not for this build, but replacement metal to store pocket metal for the pedal board. The old one's got like one of the pots on it's going bad, so. And here, it's time to plane the neck. So I've got the neck here and it's clamped to the desk, and I'm going to be using the electric plane on it. I'm going to bring it down to 20 millimeters thick from the top of the center of the fingerboard to the back of the spine of the neck, and along the full length. And I already mic'd it, and this is clocking in at like 26.5 millimeters, so I'll have to take about 6.5 mil worth of material off of this end. And this is one of these Ibanez necks, so it actually goes a little under 20 mil at the right before the nut. It's 20 mil right about at the second fret. So so basically everything from the second fret on up is going to get planed down until it's all 20 mil thick. And I'll do one little pass just so you get the idea, and I'm not going to film all this because it's long and tedious. Well, not real long and tedious. The thing is, you got to be careful to keep it, you know, at the correct tilt, so to speak. You put it on the front when you're starting, and then you put it on the back for the second half of the pass. And then the other thing is, if you take too much at once, you can mess things up. So it's better to just take a little bit at a time, but that means it takes a while. But better safe than sorry. So let's see here. This thing is set for, yeah. I think it's set for 1/128th of an inch at the moment. Basically, it's just like that. And you just keep doing that. So I'm going to do that for a while, and I'll be back. Okay, got it pretty close here, and the last little like millimeter or less that needs to be removed between like here and the second fret, I can just do that with the Shinto or even with sanding block or something like that, because there's so little to be removed. So, and this is down to 20 at this end. So yeah, that takes care of the power planing. And I guess the next thing to do is going to be to mark this thing out for the triangular heel and the trapezoid profile. So here's the results of the lacquer test. Like I said, it was 2 coats of black lacquer, then I put on the inlay sticker, then I gave it a coat of clear, and it seems to have worked. There's like no running or anything like that. Obviously it would take more layers to build this up to the point where you couldn't like feel that there was a sticker there, but it does seal it. So that could work. That could work. It won't quite focus, but you can see from the shine at the edges right here that that's actually coated with lacquer. So yeah, pretty cool. I think it'll work. And the good news is that as long as your clear coat doesn't react with whatever your base color is, your paint or stain or whatever, then this method should work for pretty much any kind of finish. And let's see, on the neck, as you can see, the battery on the micrometer seems to have gone dead. So I've got more on order, but I don't have any in stock, which is going to cause a slight delay of game. But the good news is that Mail call once again, and these are the 5-pin connectors for the interchangeable pickup system. So I think what I'm going to do while I'm waiting for the batteries for the caliper so that I can finish getting the neck thickness correct, I'm going to go ahead and do the experiment with the interchangeable pickups, and assuming that I'm going to build like a little mock-up, and assuming that the mock-up works fine, then I suppose I could do them on this guitar. It does mean that you have to dedicate multiple pickups or sets of pickups to a single build, but because since all these are custom guitars, your optimal pickup height is not going to be the same from one guitar to the next. So each set of pickups for a guitar has to be custom made for that guitar, more or less. At least at this stage of the way the system's designed to work. I might figure out some universal method later on, but for the moment I'm just going to try to see if I can get this interchange using standard components to work. This is the only non-standard guitar part used in the whole thing. Well, I dug out this piece of scrap wood in order to test the interchangeable pickup idea. But it just occurred to me that on the Oriental, it's only got that little bit of space for a single coil, basically, size footprint. So, I mean, you couldn't even put a mini humbucker in there. You can put a lipstick, and you can put a single coil, and those are the only two kinds of pickups that'll fit in there. So, you know, gold foil won't fit in there or anything else. So it doesn't really seem practical to implement it on the Oriental. You know, it's, unless I can't figure out where to put the equalizer, it's going to have an EQ. And if you want to replicate the sound of a lipstick, all you got to do is just kick the heck out of about right around 2K or so, and you'll get real close to a lipstick kind of a sound out of it with the EQ. So yeah, I don't think I'm going to do the interchangeable pickup test right now. I think what I'll do is I think I can set up my compass as a, what's the word? As a set of mechanical calipers where you can adjust it to a precise setting, and then you can use that to check a piece, and then you can put it down on a ruler and figure out exactly what that distance is. So yeah, I think I can rig up my compass to work that way, and I can use that method, the low-tech, old-fashioned way of doing it, until such time as batteries for this thing show up, which will be today or tomorrow. Well, I was hoping I could use some of the extensions that come with this thing in order to use it as a caliper, but it didn't have the right extensions. So I ended up having to wait. But as long as I was having to wait for batteries, I was like, you know, maybe I should get a second micrometer, because it's something that I really depend on for building guitars. And if one breaks, then I'm at work stoppage pretty much. A few months back, I had the same line of thought with regards to electric hand palm sanders, and, you know, spent like $20 or something and got an emergency backup one of those, because, I don't know, these baseline palm sanders, they only last a few years anyway under heavy use. So, but so at the same time that I ordered up batteries for the micrometer, I also ordered up another micrometer, and it's actually a nicer one. It's got a little wheel on it, and it's got a lock, and it's also got an extra decimal point worth of accuracy on both the inches and the millimeters. So this thing goes to hundredths of a millimeter, and let's see, tens, hundreds, thousandths or 10,000ths of an inch, 10,000ths of an inch, I guess. But yeah, so, and it's stainless steel instead of hardened stainless steel instead of I think the other one was carbon fiber. But yeah, so now that I've got a working micrometer, I discovered that the neck here is not actually at 20, it's more like 22 or something, if I get the right end here. Let's see what this thing says. So it's zeroed. Yeah, not quite zero that. Oh, that's on off. There we go. Alright, zeroed. And survey says if I can do this without moving it around too much. We've got, oh, that's not right. Oh wait, that's inches. How about that? No, how about that? Oh my god, it does inches as fractions too. Wait a sec, look at this. Inches as fractions, 51/64 or something. But yeah, it's still at 22 millimeters. So I got a couple more mil I got to take off this thing. So yeah, I'm gonna clamp it back up on the desk and have at it with the electric planer a bit more. And I'll be back. Okay, got it planed down to about here as far as like 20 mil goes. This part's still a little bit thicker, but I've taken down about all that I can with the electric planer. The planer cut only goes to about here, but from here to here it's still too thick, and it's still too thick all the way down to about the 3rd fret or so, 2nd or 3rd fret. So I think the Shinto rasp is going to be next, and I'll probably just leave it like this. So I've got a pencil line right here. That's the first place where it's too thick, basically. So I just want to kind of do this kind of a thing. And then I want to do this kind of thing. This lockdown at 20 point. It's sliding on me. It's almost 20 and a half now. 19. It's rather hard to get a micrometer moved by 100th of a millimeter. Alright, that's 20.01, so that's still too thick there. That's okay. Barely. So, yeah. Bit more grinding. And then you check it. Still needs more. That's about right there. Yeah. I'm gonna grind away for a bit. So here it is, all done. Nice thin neck, 20 millimeters from the top of the fretboard to the back of the spine, the full length. Even the heel. Nice thin neck, and yeah, no truss rod exposed, so we're good to go. I'm going to go ahead and mark out the triangular heel and the 10mm spine, and then it's time to turn it into a trapezoid with a triangular heel. Okay, I marked out the triangular heel, and I marked out the 10mm spine all the way down, and I marked out how far the trapezoid profile is going to go to, and then from here that's where it'll start to blend into this. And I used the Shinto rasp in order to start on this thickest area here over on this side, just to see how hard it would be. And it turned out that it wasn't hard at all, so I'm just going to use the Shinto rasp for it. But if this was like a really hard maple, then or something like that, some kind of, if it didn't work easily, then I would use the angle grinder with the 40 grit sanding disc pad thing, flapper disc pad, and take out at least this and maybe some of this kind of stuff too with that, and then finish up with the Shinto. But this is going along at a good pace, at a good enough pace that I'm just going to do it by hand, and I'll be back after that. Okay, all done shaping it with the rasp, and it's got the trapezoid all the way down with the triangular heel. And next step is sanding. Do a little blend there. For this part, I think I'm going to try to preserve the red and just cut it like this, kind of a thing. And yeah, so it's getting there. I guess sanding's next, and you don't need to see that. Basically, I'll probably come in with something around 100 grit or so. This is pretty soft. Yeah, 100 grit, and just by hand, maybe with a small block or something. Try to get it a bit more flat and smooth. Try to keep it flat and smooth and level. It's pretty flat and smooth and level as it is. So, okay, got the neck all sanded down, and it's smooth and ready for the paint. Actually, I'm going to drill some holes in it first, and I need to cut the headstock. And all I used was 60 grit in the little block. That's all it took. Well, looks like I'm not quite done carving the neck after all. I forgot it's supposed to be a 40mm wide heel, not a stock 56. So I've got a little bit more material to remove here. Let me get some better light on it. There we go. Yeah, so got to take down these shoulders here. So it's back to the Shinto rasp. So there it is, all carved down to 40mm now, so it'll match up nicely with the body. And there it is, all sanded smooth. Just a minute or two with this thing. Okay, got the heel marked out here. All I need to do is just remove this little point here, and there's not really a whole lot of room for shaping, as usual. That's because there's so little heel there in the way to begin with. There's not much that you need to like smooth down to get it out of the way. And then up at this end, I went ahead and marked out where the headstock's going to be cut out, and I guess I'll use a jig, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm not going to go all the way to the line. I'll just kind of go near, kind of a thing, because I'm afraid of tear out flaking off this finish on the front. Maybe I'll put some tape over it first in order to help things stay where they are. Yeah, so I'll only go near and then finish up with like a file or sanding block or something like that. And that way I'll be able to preserve this red, hopefully. If I do end up chipping it badly, then I'll have no choice but to sand it back and do something else. Probably just do it in black, but actually I might have some Ford metallic gold red that would be like this, but not quite as bright, a little bit more blood red. I suppose I could try that, but blow up that bridge when I get to it. Yeah, let me go ahead and carve down that heel. And yeah, I know I'm not showing a whole lot of action here because you've already seen what the action's like. It's basically me sitting in front of the computer watching videos while I either file or sand on a piece of wood in my lap. So yeah, I'm just going to be doing more of that kind of stuff. And but pretty soon here it'll be time to drill. I'm going to break bad with the drill press, so you get to see some real action then. And there's the heel, all shaped down with the Shinto rasp, and ready for a little touch with the sanding block. And then I think this thing will be ready for the drill press. And then after that, I guess I'll have at this with the jigsaw. Okay, there it is, all done. I took a second pass at it with the jigsaw, and then I used the Shinto, and then I used the sanding block, and I also took this sandpaper and wrapped it around this thing. I also wrapped it around a pencil. I had a pencil here somewhere. Well, you know what a pencil looks like, so. Yeah, and that's how I got this little curve down in here. And then there was just a little bit of chip out, and I was able to clean that up with a red Sharpie, and so things are looking pretty good. Nice and pointy and red. So there it is, all sanded down and smooth, and drilled and shaped and ready for painting. That was the tool. This white wood, tulip wood, yellow poplar, tulip poplar, very nice to work with, very soft, very easy to sand, very easy to cut, very easy to drill. But it is soft, so gotta be careful. It's an awful like Paulownia. Yeah, because I've modded a few guitar bodies from, like, made in China guitars that were Paulownia, and this stuff is very similar. It's a slightly more closed grain than Paulownia, but other than that, very similar. Lightweight, and yeah. Nice and clean. I'm thinking maybe I'll put the inlays, clean this up, put the inlay stickers on, and then clear coat it. And leave it rosewood, clear coated rosewood, instead of making it black lacquer, clear coated black lacquer. Okay, time to mask this thing off for squirting. I'm not going to film it. Basic idea is I take a bunch of tape, put it over it. I need to cover the front of the headstock and get a real good seal around the edge, but don't put any tape on the side. And here, I need to cover the top of the fretboard and at least part of the side, but I can't get all the way down to the neck wood, or else that won't get covered by paint. And then that'll basically leave me a little border that's got some black on it, and some of it should be masked, assuming that I don't get bleed through. And then I'll clean it up with a razor blade and scraping binding kind of a thing. So yeah, and I'm not going to film it. I don't think you need to see me mask off a fretboard, so. You know what Arnold says. Okay, all masked off. Got the top of the fretboard, got half of the sides of the fretboard, got the both ends of the fretboard, and got the front of the headstock, just the front. So yeah, I think we're good to go. Everything else is going to get... I've been thinking about it. If I only go like 1 or 2 coats of black lacquer, because all I need to do is change the color, then the fewer coats of black lacquer I go, the more you'll be able to see the grain in the wood, like on my sample. Let me find my old sample. Yeah, so you look at this guy, and it's got 2 thick coats of lacquer before I went with the clear coat. But you can see that it's still got, you can still see a bit of wood graining in it. It's not totally glass smooth. So I'm thinking go less on the lacquer just to color it, and then that way you'll be able to still see some grain, and then go kind of maybe heavy on the clear coat in order to give it that liquid glass look. Which, yeah, I know they say it kills tone, but you don't have to go totally thick in order to get liquid glass. So, and it looks so cool. At least I think it does. So here you go. One last look. It's off to the paint shop, which means it's probably going to do it for this episode. We're all masked off, ready to go. Got 2.5 cans of black lacquer. Can't remember. I think the black is Rust-Oleum and the clear is Krylon, or vice versa. But yeah, so everything's ready to go. And so yeah, I'm gonna do the paint shop thing, which is like a whole episode that I'm not gonna film. And so yeah, I'll see you after that. Until then, everybody, have a good one. Go make some sawdust, right? Something cool. See y'all later. Leave a little time for the click on this video, click on that video, this playlist, that playlist. What should I do for playlists? I'm running out of playlists. Need more bills. Oh, no. I'll put up the my collection and stuff. And the builds list. Yeah. 75 builds, not build series, just the results thereof. See y'all later.